Hi, this is author-philosopher Ronald E. Springer of EthicsUnderground.com here to continue the reading of Moral Armor. Chapter 8, Part 27, Unconditional, Selfless, and Free Love. Please hit like and subscribe before we dive in. When you pick out a Christmas tree, do you just grab the one closest to the car, or do you apply a set of standards? If so temporary a value cannot be withheld from scrutiny, then how could our deepest values? Unconditional love is the mother of all anti-concepts, the spiritual pinnacle of the irresponsible and unworked for, eliminating the fear-driven's two chief enemies, thought and effort. On the part of the grantor, it is the escape of determining standards. On the part of the grantee, it is the escape of upholding them. Before I understood the issue, I would fantasize about what kind of woman I could make a lifelong commitment to, the one I could love unconditionally. The smell of her hair, the beautiful smile, the lovely figure, and a depth of purity, intelligence, and passion to match my own. Eventually, I realized that in order for me to love her unconditionally, she would have to meet such rigid standards that her predefined virtue became condition city. I was told my concept of it was all wrong. The purpose of unconditional love, I was told, was not to project ideals and dream of an enchanted future to grow to be worthy of, but the unfiltered adoration of whatever drifts along at any time. With some rationale still prompting them to conceal their vices, the fear-driven throw a white sheet over what they consider to be undeserving of love and assert that, to be virtuous, you must love what's under it, never identifying the object of your love and never desiring to. Of course, this wipes out the value of coherent rationality. I knew that no one of esteem grants approval to what he is disallowed to understand or identify. Then I saw the fundamental approach of unconditional love to suspend consciousness, the key element disallowed in the concept. Love, a product of evaluation, was to be given without exercising the tool of evaluation, the mind. When you think of devoting yourself to another without reservation, is the image it conjures like mine that of someone ready-made, or is of a flabby, foul-smelling, ignorant, abusive greaseball? Remember, unconditional love is without condition. Selfless love is without cognitive appraisal. Free love is without spiritual compensation. All are something for nothing, which in the physical realm is called theft. These anti-concepts consider any preferential image abominably to be a moral affront. No attribute selection or value filter is allowed, leaving only a dumping ground onto which any refuse can be thrown. What made it possible for them to treat the highest value man can grant or receive with less care than we exercise, even to choose a can of vegetables? I'm sure you've experienced a partner who became angry if you mentioned what you loved them for, as safety for their precarious esteem hinged on the reward remaining causeless. Naming specific traits imposed an obligation for their continuance, revealing a potentiality whereupon the love could be withdrawn. Unconditional love tries to kill that potentiality by denying the cognitive steps of perception and identification. Identifying the knowledge necessary to derive an estimate of individual character, the traits worthy of love, is a frightening prospect, a responsibility they lack the courage to face, not to mention living up to that knowledge. Spirit murderers cannot accept that love is a reward for merit. They are still cowardly babies, hoping to remain in safe harbor and get it as a grant as in their youth. So to initiate the fraud, they try to give it as a grant. Unconditional love is the coward's formula for fixing the game in a way nature does not allow. Only a coward or an evader wishes to get the trophy whether he wins or loses, in contradiction to the known rules of the game. He wants to pretend to take the risks, but not be held to the rules if his performance proves inadequate. His elder spiritual equivalents, who have given up on all goal-directed action, know the game and try to cheat the concept of love to cover anything he happens to do or to become. The surest way to stop achievement is to pull it out at the root, answering youthful contemplations such as, "What should I do to be the best I can be?" Their response is, "You need do nothing," as they did, and hence, no future threat to their esteem. Whatever the motive, the cheaters succeed not in spreading or receiving love, but only in mangling the pathways to the true concept within themselves and their victims, nullifying love's value to them, destroying the quality of their relationships, and irreparably harming their futures. But what has it done to us? Civilization can't shut its eyes to shoplifting, homicide, and all the crimes in between. If no one were held accountable to rational standards, societal breakdown and anarchy would result. We know it. We've seen it. Still, it is considered a beautiful gesture to forgive any atrocity on a private level, though it spawns the same disorder. The pursuit of spiritual values ceases when a controlled format for their identification is abandoned, resulting in moral chaos. A beautiful gesture? It isn't beautiful ever to be thoughtless. It isn't responsible to reward anyone for ill practices, to deflect the consequences of their actions so they can't and don't learn, or to settle for less than our own virtue has earned. Milking our pity, they secured our consent to overlook their misgivings as a moral action, and in so doing, we unwittingly damned our own virtues as immoral. If that which hinders life is to be valued, then that which furthers life is not, it's one or the other. The result was inevitable. If that which hinders life is not condemned, then that which furthers life will be. They claimed we must love everything, but we found virtues quickly excluded, didn't we? As moral sides were again recognized once their inversion was in place. The innocent are treated like criminals, and the criminals are treated with compassion. Spirit murderers will suddenly conform to a value structure when it is bent to serve their evasions, and what remains distinctly unforgiven has always been success. They made us feel guilty for our fulfillment in the presence of their pain, guilty for practicing the moral patterns of life, and for gaining their proper result, pride. They successfully transmitted the bitterness which dwells in their own hearts, the second key to their true plan, no reward for anyone. Our only real guilt is that we fell for it. They've taught it as sinful to enjoy the natural flow of our passions, to distrust our invigoration and encouraged us instead to suffer the abrupt stop and go of a practice which our senses are constantly telling us is wrong. They damn the true cause, purpose, and meaning of attraction, the pursuit of a reciprocal living power as a reflection and a completion, pushing us instead into tolerating a disjointed, fumbling incompetence. They know our natural affinity for uncorrupted values would endure as sure as we breathe and would become a well of guilt for them to feed on. Our passion and desire for life was turned into a weapon of torture, to the very extent that we permitted ourselves to feel. And if we choose not to feel, obedience to their code holds the damnation of its own logic. If you consent to loving the contemptible, cringing becomes your confused expression of love. If you agree to love what you are indifferent to, it is detachment you will project. If your fear of ability mutates as a brimming love for the helpless, the death of dreams becomes love's association, the truth comes out anyway. Can you see the disposition of most priests and nuns emerging? They have become just what their view of love propounds, sterile, distant, and passionless. These variations hold one thing in common. What they call love is actually the abhorrent toleration of spiritual toxicity, agony, boredom, stillness, and their false concept of love propels them towards harm and decay, into a roving center of death. Disgust by any other name is felt as disgust, distrust is felt as paranoia, and emptiness is hollow. The true concept being practiced is not to be concealed, and comes out in senses dulled by pain, toil, and an unrewarded life. The truth about unconditional love is that it shares the same source as race hate, a non-objectively founded, non-cognitive appraisal. As an appraisal is an act of cognition, a non-cognitive appraisal is a contradiction in terms, an impossibility. To love without reason is as destructive as to hate without reason. Why sidestep appraisal? For the same reason they wish to dodge the cash register in a store, to get away with life without practicing the virtues required by life. In sidestepping appraisal, one also sidesteps justice. Instead of the good rightly rewarded and the evil penalized, it is the good that is penalized and the evil rewarded, though the reward is illusory. Uncovering its true intent, unconditional love is a reproach, in hatred for all human values, the values it was created to defy. It allows them on a spiritual level, just what they desire on the physical, to get away with murder. Disallowing comprehension leaves us no means to tell decay from furtherance or enemy from friend, their own state of mind. If a premise doesn't sanction life, it sanctions its opposite. It's time to let them have what's coming. Those who claim to love everything aren't spreading love. Their imbecilic pretense just brings the world another example of self-chosen retardation. All those who believe they can skip the performance and hand out the prizes are not capable of love at all, and bring not value to those they claim to love, but harm. No one can succeed in practicing unconditional or selfless love, and to the extent that people are sane, they don't try. Conceptually, its true meaning is mindless approval, a contradiction in terms. Approval presupposes a mind that approves. Love presupposes a self that does the loving. As they deny man his perceptions, and perceptions are sensory-based, by their own definition, it is senseless. Mindless love benefits no one, not even the mindless. It isn't love, and it isn't moral at all. It's stupid. If your supposed love can be had for nothing, then that is simply a declaration of its value, which is nothing, and of the inverted moral premises which gave it that value. True love is not the all-accepting, all-forgiving garbage can they claim it to be. It is just the opposite. No one who deserves love and knows it would expound such an anti-concept, whether he's received the honor he's earned or not. Only those who are worthless by their own estimate would and do. Love is a precious reward, an appreciable response to admirable traits, and every human being, from the most innocent child to the most wicked, seething spirit murderer, knows it. Sound appreciation is a response to that which benefits the living in some way. Love stems from the same values which drive us to seek the cleanest drinking water we can find. The standard of appreciation for a rational man is life. Its purest form can be obtained only by the practice of life-furthering virtues, seen by a countenance healthy enough to acknowledge them. Can love be selfless? Never. Cognition is an attribute of self. Love is a result of evaluation, an action of cognition, an endearing appraisal of a person, place, or thing to oneself, including self-respect, and can be nothing else. Love does not exist without the intellectual depth to judge what is virtuous or not, and to practice and convey the life-furthering value structure from which it comes. One's intellectual depth determines one's depth of feeling as well as its value to others. Self-made man tolerates no tolerance of evil most carefully in his concept of love. He forgives no practice which knowingly results in disaster, and permits no betrayal to life by placating its contaminants. Coming full circle, the goal for a moral man is in fact to seek complete confidence in others based on objective evidence, possible first only by gaining complete confidence in the integrity of his own actions. His love is granted only to the premises leading to life, just as his hate is validated by the premises which take it. Keenly guarding the purity in his concept of love is his most honorable tribute to the joy of living. That's all for now. Next up is the illusion of infallibility and the pretense of false perfection. I split these videos up by subject so you'd have a better chance of finding moral armor, and then perhaps go through the whole thing for free. Why? To help create a leader in every life. Sound civilization stair-steps up from sound coherence to sound individual to productive groups of mature individuals. Self-hatred drives fear-driven people in our world to wipe out the individual, so we all need moral armor to protect ourselves and the future of mankind. Click subscribe and leave a thumbs up if you'd like to help wipe out moral confusion fast and make the world a better place.